Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Maura and I'm a physical therapist and certified yoga teacher. Today's yoga practice is going to be a 20-minute yoga for tight hip flexors. Tightness in the front of the hips is a very common complaint. And the funny thing about tightness is sometimes we get the perception of tightness even if our muscles can actually move through full range. They just, for some reason, feel tight. It's a common misconception that just stretching will help relieve tightness, but this often puts us in a cycle of stretching and stretching with no real results. It's a little more complex than just stretching. The nervous system does need other sources of input, such as stretching, mobility, and working through full range of motion in order to start decreasing that sensation of tightness. So this practice will incorporate several different types of movements to target a well-rounded approach. As always, please make sure that it is safe for you to be practicing yoga and that you're always listening to your body. Have props nearby that you can pull into your practice at any time. If you'd like to see what I'm using, check out the description box below, and there are also some other resources for injury prevention with yoga to check out. When you're ready, we'll start in a standing position. So just get yourself situated in a nice strong mountain pose here. Ground all points of your foot. Make sure you feel nice and stable. Bring your head over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips. And bring your palms facing forward. Spread those fingertips out nice and wide. And take a deep breath here. Let's first activate our hip flexors a little bit with a little mobility and balance. So shift the weight into your left foot, and then using your hip flexors, draw that right knee up and try not to use your hands. Try to just hold it here. If you're feeling extra strong, you can always extend the foot out, but that tends to be a little sticky for hips that feel tight. So staying here is just fine. And then let's float that leg back, a little bit of strength and balance for the opposite side, coming into a variation of Warrior 3. And then as you inhale, draw that hip back up to the front. You can flex your foot on that elevated leg just so you feel a little more engagement in the front of the leg. Try and maintain that balance, but using a fingertip on the wall or touching a chair is always a great option here. Let's float it back towards Warrior 3, really stretch through that heel. And then let's do that one more time. Inhale that knee back up towards your chest. Really pull your belly button in here, activate everything. And then one more time, pressing that leg back to a Warrior 3. And then we're going to plant it, turn those toes out, coming into Warrior 1. If it feels good, turn the hips toward the front of the mat, but keep that knee stacked over the ankle, just the most safest alignment for most people here. And so as you press through the back heel, try and roll those hips under and get a little bit of a stretch in through that right hip flexor. If you'd like to extend your arms up, if that's okay for your shoulders, that's always an option here. We'll take one more deep breath. And then press into that front leg, come back up to the top of your mat, just shake it out. That left leg had a lot of work in that last sequence, so now it's the right leg's turn. Just take a minute here, coming back into your mountain, setting your position, roll those shoulders back, really stretch out your fingertips here, make this a nice strong standing pose. Really get your bearings before you shift your weight into that right leg. Flex that left foot as you draw the knee up towards your chest, engaging the hip flexors on this side. Try to keep your posture up nice and tall as we float that leg back, pressing into more of a Warrior 3. Try and keep the pelvis level. And then inhale, bend that knee, draw it back up. Maybe coming a little higher if that feels good. Shoulders back. Sweep it back into Warrior Three. Always take a little balance help if you feel like you are a little off steady. Last time, bring that knee up. Keep breathing here, hold it here. And then float it all the way back, stretch it out into that Warrior Three first. And then we're gonna plant the foot, turn the toes out, Warrior One on the opposite side. Stack the knee over the ankle, turn the hips toward the front of the mat if that feels good, stretching through the heel and through the front of that left leg. Roll the pelvis under, reach tall into your Warrior One. One more deep breath here. Exhale, step it back up to your mountain. Take an inhale here, reach it really tall, dive forward, gentle forward fold. Maybe hands come to blocks or a chair, or if you're feeling flexible enough, bringing them down to the floor. From here, make your way to a tabletop, and we'll come into some low lunge stretches. I'm gonna stay using blocks today just to create a little bit more space here. So when you're ready, bring that right foot forward and then stack the knee over the ankle, feeling a stretch through the hip flexor in that back leg. Tuck the hips under. We don't want to overextend the lumbar spine because that actually plays a trick on the psoas, and because arching the spine actually brings the endpoints of the psoas closer together instead of stretching. It's quite the trick. If you'd like to go deeper, reach the arms up, grab that left wrist and side bend over to the right. Really feel a little deeper stretch through that left hip flexor. Bring it back to midline. Exhale the hands down, bring them on the inside of that foot and heel toe it out to the edge of the mat. Now, if you'd like to come into lizard pose, just sink those hips down a little bit more. Option to flex the toes and roll on the outer edge of the foot to press that knee out. But if that doesn't feel good, then just go as far as you can without causing any pain. Inhale it back up and just sweep that right leg back. And let's repeat that on the opposite side. Bring the left foot forward, knee over the ankle, tuck the hips as you come up into a low lunge. Really roll that pelvis under so you can get into the psoas here. Inhale it up if you're looking for more. Grab a hold of that right wrist and side bend over. Exhale it back to midline. Bring the hands down. Bring them both on the inside of the foot. Heel toe it out. If you'd like to get deeper, flex those toes, roll to the outer edge of the foot, and sink the hips deeper, getting into the front of that hip. And shift your hips back, tuck that left leg back. Now lower yourself down to your belly, and we'll just open up the front of the body with a back bend in any way that you'd like to. So I'm gonna stay with Sphinx today, but if you'd like to press up into a cobra or even an upward dog, if that works for you, that is perfectly fine. Wherever you are, just take 3 deep breaths, trying to open up the chest and the belly here. Lower yourself down to the mat. Gently press yourself up to a seated position. After those big stretches, let's just take a little bit of hip mobility, letting both knees fall over to the left, and then windshield wiper them over to the right. We'll do this a few more times, just loosening up the hip, noticing if there are any areas of excessive tightness. And then we'll stay here on the right and we'll take it into a deer pose. So I'm just bringing my front leg to about a 90-degree angle and my back leg to 90 degrees. And then if you'd like to come down toward the mat, you might feel a stretch in that front leg. Or if you'd like to reach in a diagonal, you might feel more of a stretch in the back leg. So it depends on what you're looking for today. One more deep breath in whatever you chose. Bring it back up. Sweep your legs around to the other side. And then pick your variation wherever you'd like to feel the stretch. Exhale, release, and we'll make our way down to our backs. You'll need a block here or a rolled up blanket, whatever your preference is. We're going to be putting this underneath the sacrum. If that does not sound good to you, you can certainly do it without a block. The purpose of the block is just to give a little bit of a different feedback. So lift up your hips and place your block or blanket underneath the sacrum, not poking into the lumbar spine. And so let's take that left leg down. So now the block gives us a little additional range to stretch into the front of the hip here. And it may be more of a subtle stretch unless you're very tight. So it can be different from person to person. If you're looking to deepen the stretch, you can take hold of your opposite knee and then just draw it in towards your chest. We'll take 5 deep breaths on this side. If you drew your leg in, just put it back down slowly, drag that opposite leg in, and we'll switch sides. And again, if the block is really uncomfortable on your sacrum, a rolled up towel or a blanket will give you a similar feel. So extend that right leg out. Notice any tension in the front of the hip, and notice just the differences inside to side if there are any for you. If you'd like to deepen it, grab hold of that opposite knee, draw it in. You can even flex the opposite foot and really press that heel into the ground. Notice how all these slight variations just give you a little bit of a different sensation, so you can kind of pick the one that you like the most today. Release that leg. If you took that option, slide the opposite foot in, and then we'll just do a little bit of a bridge. Just press through the heels and squeeze your glutes, just lifting yourself off that block because it may feel a little sticky after being there for a minute, and slowly lower your hips down. And let's just take some side to side windshield wipers here just to get some movement back into that lower spine. And then stop in the middle when you're ready. Let's activate the back of the body a little more. With bridge, press into your heels, squeeze your glutes, and lift your hips up as high as you feel comfortable. Just make sure the weight is still in your shoulders and not up into your neck and head. Keep squeezing here, keep lifting if you'd like to go higher, if that feels good, as long as you're not getting any pinching in your lumbar spine. For added sensation, you can press your arms and your palms into the mat and then slowly lower yourself down like links on a chain, one vertebrae at a time. When you've reached the bottom, gently draw your knees into your chest and just give your back a little massage on the mat. When you're ready, extend your legs out, make yourself completely comfortable, take up a lot of space, and just notice the changes in sensation in your body. How do the front of your hips feel? How does your back feel? Take a few deep breaths here. We'll do a really short Shavasana just to really absorb all of those changes. Take one more deep breath here, and we'll make our way to a seated position in any way that is comfortable for you today. Just take a minute and keep breathing. Keep your eyes closed. One more breath. Thank you so much for joining me for this 20-minute yoga for tight hip flexors practice. If you'd like to check out some other body part specific yoga practices that are on my channel, you can check out this bubble that will be popping up right here. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.